Well, good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you back here at the Gal for Kids show. I was not able to join you last month, so I had my attorneys, Miss Attny Wood and Dana Larbus, join you. And in watching the show, I couldn't help but giggle at Miss Wood's arms that she was showing off for you. So I hope you understand that she is sort of like our bodyguard at the program, as well as one of our attorneys. But I want to welcome you back. I had to be at mandatory training last month for directors of our Hamilton County Guardian Ad Litem program, and so I couldn't join you. My name is Shelley Haymaker. I'm the director of our program here in Hamilton County. Today I'm going to be joined by Miss Casi Nelson. She goes by Cassie. Yes. And so, as we've told you before, the whole purpose of our show is just to get information out to the public so that you understand what it is that we do and how you might be able to join us and help us and be able to volunteer within the program as we advocate for kids day in and day out here in Hamilton County in the court system. So we try to do this show in order to get this information out to the public so that you can make some decisions on if maybe this is something that you think that you would be able to volunteer for. Mm-hmm. So in doing this, and we've talked a little bit, if you go back and watch any of our shows, you will learn that if you decide to volunteer here in Hamilton County, the great thing about Hamilton County is that you are always represented by an attorney, besides other great things about Hamilton County. Right. But our program here in Hamilton County, the great thing about our program is that you are always represented by an attorney. You do not go through training and learn how to do this job and have to feel like you are out on your own. We are there for you, and we have attorneys that represent you. You guys in the past, if you've watched any of our shows, you've met Miss Dana Larbus and Attny Wood. Those are the two attorneys that are on contract with the program right now that would represent you guys as volunteers. Unfortunately, since the show aired in April, Miss Dana found out that her husband is transferring to out of state to Georgia for his job. So Miss Dana is going to be leaving us by the end of this month. So that's our sad news. The good news is that I hotly pursued Miss Nelson here when I found out that she was not going to have a job at the same time at the end of April, and she graciously accepted the position here with our program. So Miss Nelson, you are going to be official with us in June.
Yes.
And she's going to be one of the two attorneys that are on staff with the program who are here to represent you, so that you're not feeling alone, so that if you do volunteer, that you have an attorney that you can ask questions of, you have an attorney for direction, you have an attorney if you go to court, and all the things in between, you have representation. So, a little bit about you then.
Sure.
All right, so Miss Cassie, you graduated from law school when?
In May 2014, I graduated from Florida Coastal School of Law in Jacksonville, Florida.
So she's a baby.
Yes.
I graduated like way earlier than that. And then the Florida thing, now this intrigues me, but you're originally from here, Noblesville,
yes,
correct?
I graduated from Noblesville High School. My family lives here. My husband's family lives here. I just kind of decided to go away and study by the beach for a couple of years while I was pursuing my law degree and enjoyed it. But again, family was here, and that's what brought me back.
So I would have had a hard time moving back. I'd have been like, family, I'm at the beach.
We still
so
regret it every once in a while.
You all need to come here. Remember that winter, a few winters back when it was so horrible? Yeah. I bet
Thankfully, I was gone for that one in Florida.
You were still in school then?
Yeah.
So she's all right. So she's relatively new. And so when you graduated from law school in May of 2014, then what did you do?
I studied for the bar exam and passed.
That's good.
That's good. And then I got hired on immediately at Campbell Kyle Profit, which is a firm that's been around in Noblesville and Carmel, Hamilton County for a little over 100 years. And then that firm recently ended up closing, and I found myself with the Guardian Ad Litem program.
That's right. We thought that she would be a very good fit with us, and we thought that she had the perfect attitude to come in and bring some liveliness to us since I'm old. She's not. Addie's between us, so she brings enough livelihood too. But
She does.
but we thought that she would make a great asset to the program as far as being able to work with the volunteers and being able to just be very supportive of the volunteers, and also to learn this whole concept. You've done some work in this child abuse and neglect system,
Yes.
right? And that's the system that we're in. So if you've watched any of our programs before, you understand that any time that there's a child in our Hamilton County courts, and really through lots of courts throughout the state of Indiana, but for us, it's for Hamilton County, anytime a child comes into the court system, because there's been allegations of abuse or neglect, then we are required to give them an advocate, so a guardian ad litem. We call them guardian ad litems or CASAs, which is court-appointed special advocates. Either way, either name fits us. But by law, we are required to make sure that that child has a separate advocate, so that while the Department of Child Services is doing their services and trying to reunify the family, while the parents are represented by attorneys, then the court makes sure that the child also is represented by a separate advocate. You are volunteers from the community. You do not have to have any special law degree or psychology degree or child behavioral degree to do this work. You just simply say, hey, program, I'm interested in coming along and volunteering, and we do trainings. Now, unfortunately, we just finished our first training for this year. We will not do another training until in the fall because it's pretty intensive and we bring in a lot of people to do the training. But if you wanted to do training with us later on in the year, then that's what you need to think about. And as we do each month's show, that's the information we're bringing to you for you to kind of consider if this would make a good fit for you. So, but back to Miss Cassie, because now she will be official with us. She's going through some training herself right now.
Yes.
So you've had some experience with the abuse and neglect system.
Yes.
As the lawyer for parents, right?
And for foster parents.
For parents and foster parents. All right. And was that here in Hamilton County? Was that outside of county?
Marion County.
Marion County?
I think I did maybe a couple cases in Hamilton County too, but the majority that I did was Marion County.
Now, there it's a whole different place in Marion
is.
County, right? It's a little different in Marion County than here in Hamilton County. So they have a lot more volume than we do, just given the vast amount of people that live there versus here, and a lot of the socioeconomic issues in Marion County. So they have a lot more cases there.
Yes.
So it's ran a little bit differently than here in Hamilton County, because I remember I went there recently and all the parents were waiting in like a gymnasium.
Yeah. That's
typical. So everybody has to show up at a certain time and you wait in this gymnasium until your case is called. Yeah. And the nice thing about Hamilton County is, you have our cases are set at at a time period. So we know a time slot. If we have to be there at 2:30, we know we don't have to go sit in a gymnasium and wait. We know that about 2:30, unless they're running late, we're going to be able to walk into the courtroom. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a different ballgame.
And then as far as in that arena or the area of the law, then do you have any other experience, or is coming over onto the child advocate side completely new?
I haven't really represented children as much in the past, so that will be new for me, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
All right. Now, she did go through, because we do have a whole nother side of our program that I have not even begun to tell you about through these shows, because really I wanted the goal of these shows to be how can you volunteer. But we also have attorneys that come into this program and also take classes and learn how to be guardian ad litems as well, and they get stuck on a lot of the divorce cases and fighting over custody and parenting time. So that's where Cassandra had joined us before as a guardian. She herself is a guardian ad litem who's gone through training, but she takes those kinds of cases, not the abuse and neglect, which is what we train you to do.
Yes,
right?
I've done some divorce and paternity cases as a guardian ad litem for the program. So,
right. And those are a whole different animal from abuse and neglect, aren't they?
They are.
So, abuse and neglect are the areas of concentration that we're going to ask you to look into. We just did a training session. We just received about 14 new volunteers that came through training. We started our first night with, I think, 19.
Yeah.
We had 19.
That sounds right.
And I always tell them the very first night that there will not be 19 that finished our 3-week course. And sure enough, there were five of them that dropped out pretty quickly and couldn't finish our training. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about all the training that we just did and how that works for you. But I do want to take a moment real quick to thank our sponsors, Mr. Wofford and Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies. Mr. Wofford is kind enough to have us in each month to do this program, to get this information out to the public. And then I believe, Cassandra, that your information, I don't have my glasses on, but I believe your information is up on the screen. And we'll talk a little bit about what else she does when we come back.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street Signs and Banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Welcome back for our next half of our program. Today we're cutting it just a little bit short than normal, but we have a few other things going on at the office that we have to get back to. Joining me, well, first of all, my name is Shelley Haymaker, and I'm the director of the Hamilton County Guardian Ad Litem program. If you've heard the term of a GAL or a Guardian Ad Litem, or if you've heard the term of a CASA, which is a court-appointed special advocate, then both of those terms pretty much mean the same thing. So if you've heard those terms around, then good. We're glad that you've heard that, because not very many people have heard of a GAL or a CASA in the context that we bring this information to you. So joining me today then, we have Miss Casi Nelson. And as we explained in the first half, she is recently joining our program. She starts officially next month in June as one of the 2 attorneys that we have that represent all of our volunteers that handle our abuse and neglect cases. So recently, and this all worked out really well because timing worked out. I told Cassandra when I was trying to convince her that this is where she needed to come. I'm on the phone with her one day and I said, if you do not see how perfect this timing is, and that this means that you're really supposed to be joining us, I don't know what else to tell you, okay? Because her last employment, by no fault of her own, her the law firm actually closed down at the end of April. And it just so happened that we found out that Dana Larbus, who you've all met through this training, was going to be relocating. She was going to be with us through the end of May. And it all worked out perfectly where Cassie could join us for May and work alongside Dana and try to figure out her cases and how she was going to take them over, so that come June, then Cassie will be the new attorney on board. So she's our new one. And she's our baby. So, she's a new attorney, and she graduated way earlier, or way more recent than the rest of us did. So now, we just finished up. Unfortunately, if you were interested in coming through the training, we just finished up training last week.
Yes, last Wednesday.
We were very excited because I didn't have training to go to last night. So it's like, yay, no training. The training consists of basically 3 weeks, and we do a lot of evenings. We start at, well, they're all evenings. We start at 5:30 and we go until 9 o'clock. We don't do every single evening for those 3 weeks, though. That's, I guess, what I was thinking. We do 9 sessions during this period of time, where we meet together and we go over all kinds of information, more information than you can even imagine or believe. We go over during these 30-some hours of training. So I'm going to let you tell our public, since this was your first training that that you've been through. So why don't you kind of share with the public what all the training consists of?
Sure. Well, we usually meet at the in the
sheriff's facility.
Yeah, the sheriff's facility.
Yes, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have a clue that there's conference rooms or places where we can meet, because we're not in the main sheriff's building.
Right.
We're kind of way behind in the back of all the big buildings, and it looks like a garage.
Yes.
So because it's their garage where they bring the cars in and out. But in that facility are some training rooms that they've been kind enough, that the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office is kind enough to lend us when we have training.
Yeah, so we've been meeting there, and there's a variety of different sessions, and each one focuses on a different area. We'll learn about, what the role is of a guardian ad litem. One night we focus on report writing and, recommendations. We have various field trips that we go on. We got to go to the juvenile detention center and take a tour and meet with some of the prosecutors, the juvenile prosecutors, which was really great. And we got to meet with some case managers at the Department of Child Services. We also got to meet with Magistrate Reitz and hear his take on everything, being a judge in the child in need of services cases. And we also had a chance to do a roundtable discussion with previous guardian ad litem volunteers.
Current guardian ad litem volunteers.
Yes, they're still current. I meant they were on cases.
Yeah, we call them seasoned, because when we call them old, they didn't like old. So we changed that to they're seasoned volunteers.
Yes. And they, brought a whole new perspective to taking on those cases and, to the program in general.
So she mentioned the prosecutor's office, and we can't forget when we mentioned the prosecutor's office that we also met with probation officer as well, Mr. Todd. So we met with the deputy prosecutor, Brandy Pass, and our lovely probation officer, one of our lovely probation officers, and then some fine ladies from the Department of Child Services, Lainey Bergline and Emily Sweetman, were kind enough to come out and do some training. And I believe my favorite night of training is when we do the round table. That's my favorite night, because I love to see all the people who were sitting out there and as kind of doe-eyed, like deer in lights look through the whole training, trying to figure out what it is we were asking them to do, and we were going to ask them to go into people's homes, and we were going to ask them to interview people, and we were going to ask them to write a report, we were going to ask them to come to court and testify. I mean, it's a lot, and people do not realize how important of a job that this is, and it's really unbelievable to me that we even have volunteers that are willing to do this and take a case and figure out they can survive it and then take another case. Yeah. Now, it's not for everybody. I mean, I talk about that from the very first night of training. This position here is not for everybody. Not everybody is cut out to be an advocate for children. Not everybody is cut out to sit and try to interview somebody. Not everybody is cut out to write reports. I mean, some people just do not have a very good way of writing things, and that's a huge impact or part of our job, is putting the information into a report to get it to the judge and to get it to all the people involved. And not everybody's cut out for that. Not everybody's cut out to go sit in the courtroom and testify. People are, I've had people that have been very terrified of that concept. I've had people that are not very articulate and they have a hard time getting their thoughts out that way. So, they kind of then fall out of the program. Then I have other people who have been in the program. I think my longest one has been in for 13 years. She's been a volunteer with us for that long, and we have several of our volunteers who have been with us more than 2 years, several that have been with us more than 5. So that tells you that it's quite possible to do this work and to figure out, really, as you leave training, to figure out how you actually do it, and once you get a real case, and to come back and say, yes, that was pretty impactful, and I'm ready to go advocate for another child now because this child is taken care of.
Right.
So I think that's the importance of the round table, and that's my favorite night. And they talked for a long time that night. They
did.
and our new people had a lot of questions for our seasoned people, so it was kind of fun that night. And I think my next favorite night is probably with Magistrate Reeds.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our cases he hears, and so we like to know what his opinions are, and we like to know what he's looking for. We like to know what he expects out of us when we are going out and meeting with people. So we get that firsthand from him, and he's able to sit down and talk with us that night and train us on what he's looking for from an advocate position. So, but before we end our sessions today, we do want to hit back with Miss Cassie. So tell me, Cassie, some of your interests outside of work.
Sure, personal
2 boxer dogs.
Yes. I do have 2 boxer dogs, Nico and Lola, and they are my pride and joy.
They're so cute, too.
They're very cute. I like to travel, spend time with my husband. My family's, in town. I like to spend a lot of time with them and just get outside and be active. And
be nice if we had some warm weather to get outside, too, as opposed to all this cold.
And not the rain that's going on right now.
Yes. Now, because our program, you are part-time, basically, with the program as far as representing our advocates. So you have started your own practice at this point, right? As of May of this year, you started your own practice. So tell the audience a little bit about you and that practice.
Sure. My office is called the Law Office of Cassandra J. Nelson, LLC. I'm going to be taking on some private work outside of the guardian ad litem program. I'll be doing it in various areas, civil and criminal appeals, some family law issues, some real estate, probably some simple estate planning and that type of thing. So I'm looking forward to continue serving the Hamilton County community.
Great. And it was kind of a scary jump, wasn't it? Coming out of a law firm into starting your own.
It was. I've never run my own business before, so it's been a learning experience, but it's something I'm excited to take on.
You have to do a lot of work before you open up shop.
That's right.
A lot of things as attorneys you have to get in place, certain bank accounts and certain insurance and all that fun stuff before you open up shop. But
then you have website and logos and
they didn't have that when I started 20-some years ago. No, I just had to do a letterhead and business cards. They didn't have all that other stuff. So you have a lot more work. All right. Well, for this month, I guess we're gonna wrap up here. And before I forget, we do want to thank Mr. Wofford again for inviting us in and for taking the time to deal with taping us and putting up with us month after month. And his businesses, which are Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies. I want to thank Miss Cassandra Nelson as she embarks on her new business and as she also joins us in representing you. I'm sure you will see more of her in the future, and if I have to go to training, I'm sure she and Addie will do a fine job. Just can you keep Addie clothed if I'm gone?
I'll do my best.
Is that okay? All right, so until we see you next month, I hope you have a great month, and I'm Shelley Haymaker. I think my information has been up on the screen, so if you need to contact us, that's how you reach us. My number is 776-0480. See ya.
Bye.